Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Point 3 Podcast Wednesday live stream. We are getting towards the end of January, the first month in 2024. Your favorite trio of hosts, Spider Brando, Hero Scroll, Lou. Gentlemen, how are we feeling on this fine Wednesday night?
Excited. We got a lot of news this week. And
Tons.
for once, it was before the live stream came out and not after, so we didn't have to do it the week after. And we even added in something that I saw like literally 5 minutes before we went live. So
Big times. Spider Brando?
It's been a day, but I'm always happy to be here on a fun old Wednesday with everybody and with y'all.
Yes. See, we feel good here at the Point 3 Podcast. And for all you Point 3 people who are watching live, we appreciate you. For those that are watching this delayed or recorded, really appreciate you checking us out here. This is our flagship show. We do this every Wednesday at 9:05 Eastern. And just for everyone, like Hero had said, we have a lot of news. So heavy spoiler warning for this live stream. We're going to be talking about Marvel. We're going to be talking about DC. We're going to be talking about some other things that are kind of unrelated to those two, but it's still extremely fun and near and dear to our hearts. Now, with that being said, the first piece of news for this Wednesday, Mortal Kombat 2 has officially wrapped filming with the trailer being teased soon. New characters are going to include Jade, Kitana, Shao Kahn, Johnny Cage, Quan Chi, King Jared, and Queen Sindel. Hero Scroll, how good was the first Mortal Kombat movie? And was it good enough to make you excited to see a trailer for the second movie?
oh yeah, for sure. I liked the first one a lot. I think the action scenes are really good. The story is well enough that, I know some people are like, oh, they kind of changed the way their powers work. And yes, they do. But to me, I don't want to see the same thing that I played. And I know some people do, but not myself. So getting a slight change that at least in their world does make sense is nice to see. And they left enough on the table to continue it. So even though we're getting all these cool new characters, I think the one that everybody's still kind of talking about and wants to see most being Carl Urban's Johnny Cage.
Yes.
With good reason. But like seeing Kitana, seeing I think Martin Ford is his name, play Shao Kahn, who, if you guys haven't seen this dude is a literal behemoth of a man. So I think they did a good pick. I don't know how good of an actor he is because I don't think he's like starred in anything. But Shao Kahn doesn't need to be that. He just needs to be big. He just needs to be imposing. That's what they got. Everybody else is coming back from the first one. Yes, even Sub-Zero. Yes, the actor Joe T. His last name starts with a T. He's coming back. So, leading to rumors of new. And have you guys seen the logo for this? It's on the director's Twitter, or I'm sorry, not Twitter, X page. It is on the director's X page. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Okay, well, you guys look it up. I freaking love the logo because it's very reminiscent of the
Flame 2.
A little bit. It's very reminiscent of the old MK2 logo with like a bit of a twist in the middle with the dragon going.
Yes.
It's green and gold. Like, it looks really cool. Anyways, let me stop geeking out about Mortal Kombat. I'm very excited for it.
Listen. This is the cool thing about it, and by no means am I comparing Mortal Kombat to Godzilla. However, it's cool to see the game just came out and all the hype that surrounded it and how there is changes and differences in the characters. And Ed Boon talks a lot about just how they tried to make it different, but still pay homage to the original games that came before it. But the fact that this movie is coming out and we're getting rumors and thoughts about it on the heels of the game, it just shows how big of a universe and how much of a need that there is for Mortal Kombat in its own space. And I think that's just the beauty of, the modern times.
Yeah. And props to the team of this, because I feel like both in the first one and with the actors, especially the ones that I didn't know, once I looked them up, the actors and actresses of who they're playing, props on them for giving a good, how do I call it? I guess homage in a way. I don't know what to call it specifically, but another project that we're going to talk about later on in the news does the same thing.
Like embodying the essence kind of thing.
Giving the characters as close as they are to what we know them as.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling to see that.
Yeah.
While Spider-Man pops a cold one in the back. In the same way that they're going to pop the spines.
It's good old grave soda. You can't see shit.
Spider-Man, what do we got next?
We got
grape soda.
Invincible Season 2 Part 2 returns on Pi Day, aka March 14th.
I see it. Yeah. We're so clever lately. I just got to say that.
We're so good.
Just
we're
so clever.
Well, I'm very excited for that. See Part 2, obviously, after seeing what happened in Part 1. If you haven't seen our reviews or discussions on Season 2, Part 1, go check them out on our page. They're somewhere. I don't think I have a playlist for Invincible stuff, but this is a great idea. Anywho, do you guys think Invincible will go down as one of the greatest Western animated series?
Yes. I'm not hesitating on that. I'm just like, yes.
I think it's already up there in the one of categories. Obviously, it's not done yet, so I can't say for certain that it's up there. But from what I'm seeing so far, it's up there.
Yeah, I'll third that. I definitely think some people might throw in the like caveat of like modern. I don't know if they will say of like all time. I personally feel like this does have a place to be in that conversation.
Yeah, shoot, I would say yes. Next, real quick, Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender got a trailer this week. It does start streaming February 22nd. Hero Scroll. I'm curious what you're thinking about this one. Can this be Netflix's best live action adaptation?
Yes. I think so, mainly because you take something as beloved as Avatar that hasn't gotten love in terms of its live action stuff. It hasn't really hit in the way and didn't get the care that it needed. And even I would say Korra is something that for a lot of fans is kind of divided. You know, some people like Legend of Korra, some don't. So Avatar fans have kind of been on a drought for a little bit, I would say. And getting a live action series that, like I was saying earlier about the Mortal Kombat and 2 and the first one, a portrayal that is giving love to the original series. Because if you guys watched the trailer, and we all did, it's clear they are trying to make this as close to animation as possible without trying to make it look corny or stupid or bad. They are clearly trying to give it the same flair that the animation had. Like even Aang's actor feels like and talks like Aang, which is kind of crazy. I was gonna say the closest one really feels like Zuko, because it's uncanny the way when he started talking. I was like, wow, he sounds exactly like the OG voice actor.
I'm really excited for this one. Really excited because when the movie came out, which felt like forever ago,
we don't talk about that movie.
I don't know. Did you like it?
That sounds like he liked it.
A live action
Yeah.
remake? I'm about to leave right now.
You did like it?
No, I said we
Oh,
don't. I said we don't
okay.
talk about that.
Oh, I
movie.
thought you said
It's
we
so
need to talk about that. I was like,
no,
talk
no, no,
about
no. We
what?
don't talk about it. That movie was pure cheeks, and I haven't done this in a while, but
Oh, is it
not
getting?
quite a great
Oh,
perception.
no.
No.
Nope.
Dang.
Oh, I'm excited for this live action remake though.
It's got good
For-
momentum.
Yeah.
One Piece, and then now this, and maybe they could expand it into a little bit more of the story.
Yep. I was telling my I guess my gym bro that I see at the gym all the time about. He was the one that told me the Avatar trailer dropped, and I'm like, damn, Netflix might be cooking with these live action remakes.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, they still got the Death Note Abomination that they attempted.
And they got that horrible Cowboy
else was
Bebop we
there?
never want to talk about.
Cowboy Bebop Abomination.
Don't watch Attack on Titan.
Oh,
They did an Attack on Titan one?
they have Attack on Titan? No
Yeah.
way.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
wow. I didn't know that.
I will Google it for you guys to confirm.
Okay. Well, either way, while you Google it, I was going to say,
Damn.
I feel like Avatar lends itself well to live action stuff, whereas the like One Piece, Cowboy Bebop, even not Rory Kenshin. What was the last one? Yu Yu Hakusho. Even though I heard pretty decent things about that one and the live action One Piece, from the trailers and like clips I've seen, there's some stuff that just doesn't translate well. And I feel like they didn't try to change some of that. But I think Avatar lends itself to making a lot of things look good, even if they were live action.
With Avatar, there's not much that that would be too crazy out there to be taken into live action that we haven't seen done before in like any other medium or show. You know?
The key, like, for me, I always get the vibes of like, to do a live action Avatar, there's a lot of creativity and an artistic feel that needs to be done to it. Again, with all the elements, the movements, from what it looks like they've captured that.
Yeah.
In spades. So I'm if that is from the teaser, this is what we get. I can only imagine how great this is going to be. Fairly high expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys think that's already? Do you think the Avatar Last Bender animated show is one of the greatest Western animated series?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'd probably say yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say that too.
Top 5.
It's up there with Invincible. It's crazy.
Invincible might be top 10, but not top 5.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. I stand by that.
Whoa.
Invincible's top 10, but not top 5.
We might have to do a Western animated series tier ranking.
That's in comparison to things that are done.
True.
That's
also true.
That's very fair.
So
very fair.
I'll give it a +1 bonus there, but carry on.
Anyways, next up, we're gonna switch gears over to DC. The only bit of DC news that we have, thankfully, unless we finish this up and then James Gunn's like, "Hey, here's your Hal Jordan and John Stewart." Millie Alcock, I believe is how you say her name, and Meg Donnelly reportedly screen tested to play DC Supergirl yesterday. This came out by the Hollywood Reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you guys, and Lou, I'm gonna throw this out because I know you really liked her this portrayal of Supergirl in The Flash. What do you think they need to do differently from Sasha Calle's Supergirl to make this one feel unique but still cool in comparison to the Flash's Supergirl?
Oh man, listen, this is really difficult. I think about this not often, but I think about it a lot because I think this is one of the more difficult castings in DC and that will come up in the DCU because we did get a really good portrayal from Sasha Calle. She felt like she was Superman to me. Like she was good. However, you do have the camp who are like, she doesn't have blonde hair. She's not wearing the skirt. She doesn't have blonde hair, short sleeves. She doesn't look like Supergirl from comics, right? Fair. But there's a fine line between the cheerleader and then Power Girl. And when you cast here, the way that they can best differentiate from Sasha Kai's Supergirl is to have a seasoned yet hardened version of Supergirl who has experienced things, who is not green, she is not raw. Almost a story that James Gunn has referenced. I forget the name of the run that he says was very interesting and people should watch. Can't think of it off the top of my head.
Woman of Tomorrow, which I think is the name of the project.
That version of Kara, who is kind of the flip side of who we get as Cal. If we can get that other side of the coin and they really hammer home Superman Legacy, this will be a great addition and probably one of the better, if not the best, catapults from an origin story into a related character. I don't think we've ever really gotten that in live action before that I can think of from this standpoint of a reveal. I really don't think there's been anything that's been executed well.
Yeah. I feel like they have a unique opportunity to make Supergirl almost a mentor to Superman, where it feels like a lot of times Superman doesn't have that. And I think that at times might alienate certain people from his character, where they're like, he can just get it, you know, because he's that good. But having Supergirl be, you know, the typical older cousin like she is in the comics, someone who is more hardened than him and knows and seen what can happen if you don't, or can see the other side of the whole I'm too hopeful thing. That can play really well with Clark in Superman Legacy or down the line.
In to that point, almost like what we saw in Invincible, from the standpoint of like, we're going to see Superman who has learned that like he is untouchable, right? You were just born this way. No one can really hurt you. But Kara's like, I've seen war, I've seen death, I've seen destruction. You can't be everywhere all at once. And what you think you stand for doesn't really apply once you fly off this rock. So here's a reality check. You're not as great as you think you are, and you can be beaten. I know that for a fact because I've seen it firsthand. That I think will be a great dynamic. I just hope they don't take too much time in between that movie and Legacy.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Well, speaking about time. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I would like to see a mentoring Supergirl to Superman, because that sounds very unique storytelling wise, like you just mentioned. But I still have to watch freaking CW Supergirl all the way through. No.
Nah.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. It's more of like, hey, you shouldn't do that. Here's your lesson. Like,
you're bad.
This isn't Riverdale. Like, see ya.
Bad.
Yeah. I like seeing her in like all the crossover stuff, which is what made me want to watch the show. Or like
towards the end,
like
she did have some
Melissa
Benoist.
Yeah,
that's some parts, but I wouldn't prefer it. Prefer it.
Note taken.
CW's always been a mixed bag, so it just depends on if it's at the start or the end of the show.
They try to wrap it up and make it feel good. Shout out Grant Gustin.
Who carried the Arrowverse besides Stephen Amell for the first 3 seasons of Arrow.
Okay, quick side note. When I went through and actually like binged Arrow from the beginning to end, and then like watched all the crossovers and watched everything like all the way up to Vixen and through and beyond and got to Superman versus Lois, I was like watching it all through. I didn't love Stephen Amell as much as I did in the moment.
Really?
It just felt like he just stopped kind of caring at the end of it, and it was just like, I got to show the set.
It feels like that's how they wrote his character to be.
I know,
honestly, and it just it didn't feel good, and I think that's why Arrow flounders for like the next 4 seasons after season 3, and then they pick back up later on where he again has this weird character shift out of nowhere. It's odd. It's very odd. I don't know why they did Arrow the way they did, especially after starting so hot with it.
I mean, it started hot. It started hot. Dude, the League of Shadows and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh,
dude, those first 2 seasons, I remember my friend got me hooked on them in like senior year of high school, sometime in high school, and I went on such a freaking binge.
How many people did you tell that they failed the city? How many people failed your city?
Everybody.
At that time, you wronged me. You failed the city. Like,
yeah.
Imagine a world where the CW universe just stayed consistently good. Like, imagine if all
DCU who
right? Imagine if Arrow hit for all 8 or 9 seasons. Imagine if the Flash hit for all 8 or 9 seasons. Imagine if Black Lightning hit. Imagine if Supergirl hit. Dog, like DC would probably be dominant in a way that I don't think a lot of people would realize.
I would love to see if CW never happened and TV wasn't kind of like what TV was, and they started that from a streaming standpoint, and that was the origin.
Yeah. Marvel would be in trouble.
Marvel would be in massive trouble. We can I mean, I think we should talk about some Marvel though, because it might be in trouble.
Let's talk about Marvel. They're probably going to be in trouble if this next movie doesn't do good. But Deadpool 3 wrapped filming today. Ryan Reynolds posted on his Instagram story, and it was basically done. And it seems like from what he said, everybody had a great time, which I'm glad. But what is your guys' hype level for Deadpool 3? I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm at like a 6. I need a trailer. I'm tired of seeing leaks. I'm tired of seeing leaks, and I just want to see it in motion. That's what I want. I want to see Hugh Jackman in a proper Wolverine costume come out and interact with Deadpool. I need a trailer. I'm at a 6.
This is out of 10, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going... Fuck, this is hard. I don't know. I've been trying to level set my expectations and hype for this movie so much.
Okay.
I think I'm in the same boat that I'm at a 4 or 5 until I see a trailer, and that shit's probably gonna shoot up to like a 27. I guess depending on how the trailer is, but
guys.
I don't know.
This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer 10. Without a question, it's a 10. I don't care what happened in the MCU. The ship is going down, and Ryan Reynolds is there. Everyone's evacuating, and my guy straps in and puts a seatbelt on, and he's like, "Where are we going?" I'm just like, "You're going down." He's like, "No."
Is he playing a violin with the Titanic going now?
And then he was like, "We'll right the ship." It's got to be at a 10 because this is truthfully the first thing from an acquisition standpoint that is leading at the front. Like, none of this behind the scenes Daredevil is a canon, is it not? None of this like, oh, here's Beast, oh, here's Professor X. Where did they come from? Do they mean anything? No idea. Deadpool is finally the first character that we know had a 1, had a 2, and this is a 3, and the 3 is under the MCU banner, and it will be very much Deadpool. This is going to be the movie that will unapologetically sit on the Disney Plus timeline and just be like, F everyone who's up and down this timeline who says like these movies are no good.
Oh yeah,
it's just finally I want to get something where I can just sit into it and I don't care about the rest of the MCU.
I I was gonna say I have a feeling that's where some people might disconnect from it because they're expecting a little too much. But I genuinely feel like if you just go into Deadpool 3 expecting to be entertained by Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, this movie's probably going to be as good, if not better, than Spider-Man No Way Home. If they do it right. If they do it right, watch us in about 7 months.
Whoa.
But let's be honest, though. But think about everything they have going on. Is it though? Think about what they have going on for it. You have a beloved, and I mean beloved character who is up there with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in terms of we want him to return. And then you have the absolute charisma, which, as much as I love Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, they don't touch Ryan Reynolds in terms of charisma. They don't. On screen? No. Let's be honest. And they get a toy box to do what they want and play with all of their old IPs and reference City with a character who has no limits? Come on. Like, you cannot tell me this doesn't have a chance to be better than No Way Home if they do it right.
On the grounds that there's more time spent with those that we want to see the most. I mean, on the assumption Hugh Jackman's in the movie for more than 45 minutes. Yeah, I mean, this is going to check all the boxes. This should, based on historical facts of what Deadpool 1 and 2 were, and how good of an actor Hugh Jackman is, and how good that suit already looks, and plus we're getting a cowl, I could just stare at Wolverine and be fine, and Deadpool can just be a wizard with 2 swords and just behead everyone in the movie. Fine. Like, how satisfying will that be after watching Kingpin get enlightened?
I would love. I really want to see like a Deadpool kills the Foxverse out of this freaking movie so bad.
Now, to that point, I know everyone's going to say that, and I know we've spent a lot of time on this. Let's just get ahead of this. The main villain is going to be manipulating someone in this movie, and Deadpool will be pulled in somehow, some way to have to eliminate heck of people if they go down that route. But I've seen it, and I don't understand it. Deadpool is not going to stand up after sitting on his couch and he's like, you know what? I'm going to travel the multiverse and just start killing people. This is not what this is going to be.
Oh, no.
And I'm seeing people just like, I can't wait till he kills the Fox universe. And it's like, why? And like, I don't know. Maybe it's Tuesday. Like, that's just no. There will be reasoning. There will be a motivation. There will be manipulation. He didn't kill the Marvel universe for fun. So
I have a random hot take, not hot take, just random theory while we're on Deadpool I want to throw out. What if it's what if there's someone that gains access to the multiverse or whatever, and it is the X-Men Origins Deadpool that's been compromised to go around and killing everybody, and then our main Deadpool has to fight Wolverine's Deadpool or Origins Wolverine Deadpool.
He's got 2. That's double not certified.
I think you meant this.
No.
Nobody
meant that. Nobody meant that. No. Just no.
Okay. I'll leave it at this. Does the old Origins Deadpool show up?
No, he's dead. Because he killed him in the second one.
Maybe he plucked him right before he died. No Way Home.
Oh man, it's multiverse timeline shit. They could go back to
anywhere.
If the Deadpool,
Logan died, he's in the movie, like whoa.
If the Deadpool of X-Men Origins Wolverine comes out, and I mean proper, I mean like I'm not talking about Ryan Reynolds, right? You're talking about like proper zipped up mouth,
like
crappy face.
nuclear
Okay.
silo.
If he comes out, Brandon, on a live stream, I will slather myself in honey and write Spider Brandon was right on my chest.
Right.
I will
30 minutes, clip it.
Yes. if God, I hope that doesn't age horribly.
I kind of want it to happen though. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll find out in 6 months, and like pretty much 6 months and 1 day from this day.
Dude, I hope it's in the
If it's
trailer.
the
I hope it's
26th,
trailer
that'll
number
be,
1.
like,
It's like the second.
If it does, I'm gonna cry.
If it's
an
just
elevator
Deadpool just
opens.
referencing like so many different universes that he's been to, and it's just a screen pan to like, oh, and that shitty one that we want to not
God.
think about. Ugh. If
Speaking
it's like
of-
a reference or like a cameo thing, just for the record, I'll let it slide.
Okay, that's fair.
Like from old footage or whatnot. Because
That's fair. That's fair. Again, talking about things we don't care about and forgot. Ironheart. Ironheart wrapped filming also. I think this came out yesterday where Dominique Thorne, I think is how you say her name. Came out, said it. Did you guys forget about
Who?
Ironheart?
I don't even know. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot Ironheart was a thing until I saw this document. I'm not gonna lie. I know about Armor Wars.
Dog, that's
But-
not even in. They didn't even have a plot, and we had a character that was full blown in a movie.
Yeah, but Ironheart, I don't know.
I stopped caring about Ironheart when she basically, you know, when you play a video game and you start off and you're equipped with everything, and then it's just like, oh, I fell off a cliff and I dropped everything, and they're like, you must start your journey now. That's Ironheart. And it's just like, well, give my stuff back. Like, I want to be relevant.
It really is. And I think that's the one big blunder that Wakanda Forever has, where they're like, hey, have this really cool suit. Like, have the hot rod version of an Iron Man armor, basically. And then they're just like, no, you can't have it. And she's like, but why? And she's like, you just can't. Sorry.
Now take your car and go.
Have fun. Go with here's your actual hot rod car. Go, please. Leave now.
Yeah.
It's like, what? That's so stupid, because now when she comes back and she has like her crappy armor again, no one wants to see that when she had the cooler armor.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have a comment on that. It's kind of a similar situation to Spider-Man. Having the Iron Spider suit and then downgrading to just regular old shit. And then him even denying that freaking suit at first. Wild.
If this happened in phase 4, I would be okay, and I'd be like, cool, she's going to be on a journey, but this is late and it's going to come out, and I don't even know when in the release date's supposed to be, honestly. I just know it's done. A lot of things surrounding this is like mysticism plus technology, like hashtag science. I just don't love the premise of it. I still did that. Yeah. I'll circle back to her in later on in the doc.
I don't get what the point of having an Ironheart show is when you don't include her in something better suited for her character, like Armor Wars, where I feel like you have the perfect opportunity to keep exploring her story alongside Rhodey's story.
Yeah.
Together, you can explore that side together, but having hers and then having it be, like you said, with the Hood, which, first off, a character that quite honestly nobody gives a crap about.
No.
And it doesn't even make sense for her as a villain, to be quite honest.
No.
It's just weird, man. It's so weird.
Yeah. I hope this actually gets turned into a special presentation. No, I don't want to. I don't want to spend 6 weeks watching this show at this point.
If they don't, it needs to drop all at once, like Echo. If they don't make it into a special, I do think that they need to just dump the show and show us what they got.
If they dump it, then they need to dump it right before Armor. That show needs to be launched in April, and Armor Wars needs to come out in May. Like, I think everyone watching can assume how we feel about this now. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be said. Like, just, I don't know.
I'm like this. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not here and I'm not there. I'm here, and I think that's worse than being here or there.
I'm really indifferent. I'm indifferent about this, and I'm kind of indifferent about the next thing because Sebastian Stan confirmed that the Thunderbolts are going to begin filming next month. This is another follow-up. Gentlemen, do we even care about that news? Spider-Man scoffs at the end.
Sorry, I had to cough and like yawn at the same time. So
I saw the panic in your
eyes.
eyes.
He just didn't know what to do right there.
I saw the panic in his eyes, and I was like, "Well, Thunderbolts isn't that bad." It was.
I care about this movie for Sebastian Stan and Yelena. I don't know why I forgot. Florence Pugh. I don't know why I forgot her name. And that's about it. I don't even care what goes on in the movie. I just want to see them.
I feel like we've talked at length about this in other lives. So all I'm going to say is, while I'm here with Ironheart, I'm about here on Thunderbolts. That's all I gotta say.
There's one thing that will save this movie. 2. Red Hulk and Sentry. They need to power this movie up something fierce. And we don't know what's going to happen with Thunderbolt Ross in Captain America. What is it called? Brave New World?
Brave New World.
In Sentry's already had a character who we thought was going to be great, who left and couldn't do the project. And the next rumored person denied the role. It's not desirable. I don't know what the plans are. The suit's supposed to be amazing, but Thunderbolts, go back and listen to our previous videos. Look at when this movie is supposed to release and find out the other massive movie that is going to release around the same time. And you tell me if you're excited to see this movie. No. Should we speed run this next one?
Yeah.
Just a quick yes or no. The Marvels hits Disney Plus February 7th. Spider-Brando, is this movie rewatchable?
One time, yes. More than that, I don't see why.
Fair enough. Hero?
Yes.
I will also say yes. We're on the upswing here. But this one is going to be interesting. A lot of people are not talking about this, and I feel like this is being swept under the rug, where this could be a sleeper project. I know I didn't score on the Marvels. However, it's rumored that a Young Avengers project is being produced with a target of 2026. I'm going to flip this back to you, Hero Scroll. Who do you want to see added to the team next?
I'll be honest. I don't think there's anybody that I really want to see added, because I think they kind of have enough already. Where
just
if you have Scar, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, Wiccan, who's reportedly in Agatha, or not reportedly, we saw pictures. Wiccan, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, or the kid from Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think that's enough of a team. His grandson, yeah,
his grandson.
Yeah, I forget his name.
And Cassie. I think Cassie's.
And Cassie, yeah. So I think that's enough of a team. You don't need anybody else.
Oof.
Just make do with what you got.
Gentlemen. No. There are two major players that should be added to this team to make this movie actually worthwhile. One, this is where Ironheart should live. This is where Ironheart should show up next. Some experience on the team here at a larger scale. I mean, you saw Namor literally destroy a city and kill the queen. But Spider-Man.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I am 1000% in the camp that Spider-Man should be cameoing in this. Only reason why I say this is because the MCU needs more crossovers and they need characters like how they're trying to use Daredevil. Spider-Man should be used in this. And Spider-Man should be the character who says, "Oh, guess what? I can't be on this team." That's Spider-Man needs to be the person who speaks for us, who says, "No, you shouldn't be a part of this project." He should cameo and try to get recruited and deny.
Okay.
He's off doing something else. Or
Okay.
he's bully Maguire version.
Okay, you said cameo, so that switches it. If it's a cameo, fine.
He's in it.
But if he's like I thought you meant core part of the team, and core
no.
part I'm like so against. But if it's a cameo, yeah, that's fine enough. Yeah, I think that it could do something nice for the show or movie or whatever it is.
He needs to be the person they're chasing.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that'd be really cool for his character development to see him from Homecoming, always chasing after Tony and wanting to be on the team like the Avengers, to having people look up to him. Sick.
Yeah.
I would love for Iman Vellani to have those funny moments where she just shows up and she's like, "What about now?" And he's like, "No." He's doing something, he's fighting crime, and she's like, "What about now?" And he's like, "No, same thing, no." And they just kind of do this little tidbits throughout just to kind of like have fun. I'm alluding to this happens and takes place in New York, by the way. Shout out to Cassie Lang working at the Baxter Building, Spider-Brando.
Peter working there too.
Shoot, I don't know, man. You know, get my guy Norman up here. You know, just.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm ready for the next thing. Sorry.
Spider-Man will take this one. This one's your ballpark, being a Spidey-related piece of news.
So, you got two sides battling against each other. Kevin Feige and Tom Holland apparently want Spider-Man 4 to be a grounded story, while Sony wants to be Sony. No, I'm kidding. Not Sony. This actually sounds cool. And bring back Toby and Andrew via Daniel RPK.
The insider.
Liar.
Me,
what was that?
No, sorry. I was just complaining. Everything I see is Daniel RPK, and it's kind of excessive.
I want to meet that guy.
He's making stuff up at this point. He's making stuff up. He's sitting on the toilet, and he's like,
"This will get them talking." Right now. By the way, you have to join my Patreon to see it.
Oh my god. But to me, I like both ideologies. So that brings me to the question for whoever wants to answer it first. Can the MCU pull off a grounded Spider-Man story without the addition of a symbiote? And has Sony missed its chance to make us care if they bring Andrew or Toby back?
I'm going to defer to Hero on this one.
Yes and no. In the answers to both, right? They can definitely pull off a grounded story without the symbiote if they want to, because that's the character that Spider-Man is at heart. And heck, I still feel like they could with the symbiote if they wanted to. You can very much tell a very personal story for Spider-Man instead of it having be this like big thing that he got the suit. Something we've been saying for a while. Let him ride with the suit for 3 projects and have the villain for this one be someone a little more personal, and he goes too far. Whether you bring back Scorpion, whether you bring back Vulture and he kills him because, or maybe not kills him, but cripples him because of the symbiote. You know, you can tell those kinds of stories. And as much as we hate to say it, or at least I do, Andrew and Toby print money. and they print money. Sony sees that, and I'm sure that by now Sony has given them some sort of offer, and they have something in the works for at least one of them. And I would say probably more Andrew, because I think Toby's done, unless it's Secret Wars. But I do think Andrew has a little more left. He has like that one more match type of mentality for wrestling where he's like, yes, I can do this one more. Toby's done. Toby's like, no, I had my Shawn Michaels Mania moment. I'm done.
Yeah. No, shoot. I agree with those. I think they need to tell a grounded story, but the symbiote is such an outlier that they have to include it. But again, Spider-Man's brand of justice, how does he go about that? Would be on full display. And do I care to see Tom or Andrew come back and Sony proper? Absolutely not. And I just feel like, what's the point? However, ask me this question after Craven, because if Craven comes out, I would love to see him face off against Andrew. That would be awesome. But I'm still sticking with Toby for Secret Wars, standing next to RDJ and Hugh Jackman. So we'll see how that goes. However, we're going to breeze through this. This is just, a lot of people are kind of forgetting about the character of Kang. And I feel like the Jonathan Majors and all the street level stuff is kind of clouded over what was supposed to be Kang Dynasty. But it was reported that Jeff Loveness's plan for Avengers Kang Dynasty was to gather all the leaders of the multiverse saga, except for Thor, weird, to fight against Kang variants on Earth. The film was reportedly grounded, which is the buzzword of the day, and did not involve too many multiversal elements. Guys, does this sound like facts or does this sound like crap, Spider Brando?
I don't know why. Sounds so funny to me. I'm gonna go with. I don't know. I'm gonna go with fact.
Ooh,
because it truly felt like, as we talked in our State of the MCU Union address in our most recent video, we have no idea where the multiverse saga is going, and I could easily see them not having any idea and then doing some shit like that of just keeping it simple, grounded, even though we want more. But I don't know.
I'm with that.
I think it's fact as well, mainly because it feels like because of Ant-Man 3 and how weird its quantum realm, but not quantum realm it feels like he would do this for Kang Dynasty. He would be like, yeah, let's just have all the Kangs finally show up on Earth. And then all the crazy multiverse stuff, let that happen later on. Who cares about that? I don't want to see that. I'm Jeff. Yeah, I do feel like this is probably true. And then they saw how Ant-Man went, and then they were like, never mind, we don't want that. Goodbye.
Yep. I'm in agreement there. He's gone. This idea left with him. That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you got fired for a reason. Yeah. So
yeah. All right. Now it is time to get down to the nitty-gritty, to the big talking points to set up our final deep dive of our Wednesday live stream. But first, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join us next week, 9:05 Eastern. Gentlemen, we're gonna shift and focus, and we're gonna take it to the streets. Daredevil, Born Again, resumed filming Monday. This past Monday, 2 days ago. Does this feel like some positive momentum for the MCU, specifically for the street level characters that are now going to be included? Foggy, Karen, Punisher, Kingpin, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, all supposed to be carrying over from Netflix into, at some point, into Daredevil Born Again. Is this positive? Are we heading in the right direction in the MCU?
I want to remain hopeful and say yes. I just feel like it does feel like at least they are trying to listen to fans and the fact that they are bringing back Karen and Foggy's actors and things like the Punisher, obviously them bringing back, Daredevil and Kingpin. So yeah, hopefully.
Spider-Man, I know we've talked about this before, that Daredevil Born Again was supposed to be 18 episodes, but it's come out now that the count of 18 episodes is not guaranteed. Are you buying or selling that they believe that less than 18 episodes is actually going to increase the quality of this series? And here I'll pose that one to you as well.
Buying, no. I don't know. I'm torn.
Gonna hold.
I'm just gonna, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna hold.
I'm just gonna hold.
I'm gonna hold as well, because I don't necessarily think this is like a show writer thing. I feel like the show writers want to tell the story that they want to tell. I feel like the actors and directors want to tell the story they want to tell. But if you've listened to us for a while now, specifically the last couple of weeks, you know that we are honestly of the thought that Disney is now what is in charge. And I do feel like they care more about budget, especially if Tatiana Maslany's quote from last week stands true about Disney just simply not wanting She-Hulk because of budget reasons. I genuinely think that Disney's putting pressure on them to be like, do this when you can. If you don't need 18 episodes, then let's not. But I do feel like at the same time that at least for this particular project, somebody is championing this project.
Yeah.
Because unlike She-Hulk, and honestly, unlike what I feel like a lot of these other shows have gotten, they don't have a proper champion internally. And while that champion isn't necessarily like out in the open, I think they see enough fan response to be like, okay, no, somebody on the board of directors or something is like, no, guys, we have to get this one right. This is the one we need to do right. And making it longer, maybe for them, is what they're saying, is what we need to do. I do feel like there's a fight going on internally about this. I wouldn't be surprised.
I really agree with that. And part of me felt like, and we've talked about this off screen, where for Daredevil specifically, I think 18 episodes is good because there's a lot of story that can be told and carried over, and characters can be fleshed out and introduced, and they're associated with the title character that is Daredevil, which I think is money right now, right? Almost as much as being an Avenger or being associated with Spider-Man. People have really, really, really good responses and watch projects for Daredevil and Kingpin, as we just saw most recently in Echo. However, if they do take this down to, say, 13 episodes, you figure if they did a part 1, part 2 of 9, I almost think of it like, hey, let's do part 1, but let's add a little bit to it, right? Let's take the core essence of the back half of what we were potentially going to do, trim the fat a little bit, keep out some of the characters we may have introduced, which may or may not be a detriment to the show, but let's keep and build a really strong core for people to rally around. And it's no secret that the groups that are a part of these Daredevil projects, specifically those that were part of the Netflix projects, they're very vocal and very protective of this, to say, hey, we've scrapped this once. We went back to the drawing table. It wasn't good enough. We are listening to the fans. We want to deliver the best possible project with some of the most household street level names in Marvel. And if your goal is to ultimately involve Spider-Man, Avengers, Fantastic Four, and really make New York the hub of the street level of the MCU, it begins here. Now, I will say this. If they do only do one season, and this isn't like a Loki 1 and 2, which I think was strong and great, you run the risk of not being able to right some of the overall MCU wrongs. And you got to get it right the first time.
And I think the fact that it's called Born Again shows that this is probably going to be a one season type thing, because the title of Born Again, right? If this was just Daredevil, I feel like they could continue it.
Mm-hmm.
Born Again feels like it's going to be its own thing. And hopefully they keep it going. I would love for them to continue it on and just drop Born Again as the subtitle and keep it going.
Yeah.
But I'm scared that they're really just going to make it a one and done, especially with, I mean, we got the announcement for this show, what, 2 years ago?
Roughly.
I think so.
I mean, it's not new for
Yeah,
sure.
so if they were to do a season 2, realistically for a live action, we're probably not going to get it for another 2 years, which by then means we're even closer to a reboot.
Yeah.
Which will then be a lot harder to keep people's attention. So
we got Daredevil Born Again.
Daredevil Resurrection. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
actually sounds like it will go freaking hard.
Dude, honestly, I feel like that's like a one-off movie that was like from an anime. You're like, I don't know. I know
Yes.
Dragon Ball Z has gotten, but it's just like it's going to be in theaters for a limited time. Daredevil Resurrection, or it's a video game. Listen, they could do something really, really, really cool if they wanted to continue this on. And Daredevil Born Again is a focus on the title character. You continue this story, but now Punisher steps into the title role. Daredevil takes a back seat. He's still doing his thing, but Punisher is now kind of the focal point. And like you almost shift, almost like in Spider-Man, like you can play this as Peter, and then you can play as Miles. You can play as Peter, you can play as Miles. Let's see it through Frank's eyes. Let's see it through Matt Murdock's eyes. I think that would be a kind of a cool dynamic to keep the same feel and run it kind of in parallel without having to time skip or jump here or there or whatever it might be. And, you know, if Kingpin gets busted up in episode 10, then what if Punisher's version of this picks up in episode 4 or picks up in episode 12, right? So he doesn't have to be there. That being said, though, here's the curveball. Bullseye has been announced to be coming back in Daredevil Born Again, with actor Wilson Bethel reprising his role. For me, Bullseye and Daredevil for Netflix Daredevil was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Just the backstory, how cool it was. It felt like a good sub-villain, but Kingpin still felt like the main guy. It was interesting, and I'm very excited to see what they ultimately do with him in this series and what version of Bullseye are they going to try to pull off.
I feel like it almost needs to be arch villain Bullseye, where, and I know season 3 has been so long ago from like a casual's perspective, but I do think that because you kind of have this opportunity to introduce that version of Bullseye in particular, now's the time to do so. And it's kind of crazy to say, but I mean, and maybe you guys can throw in your input on this as well. I feel like for the MCU street level to excel where I would say the greater MCU hasn't, maybe from the start, I would say even, I'd go as far as saying that I feel like they need to establish multiple villains being feasibly somebody that can take your main character down and can almost be an arch villain for them in their own right. So I feel like Kingpin needs to be that, and you guys can let me know what you think as well. But Kingpin, Bullseye, it's been rumored for a while now that Muse is going to be the main villain for this show, or a villain in this show. I feel like all three of them, and I know it's kind of hard to pull off if you don't have as much time, but I feel like all three of them need to feel important and scary and just a big bad for Bullseye. Not like, don't have Muse in episode 1 and 2 and then he's done. I think that would ultimately hurt the street level overall if they do something like that.
It's simple for me. I echo everything that you just said. The more that they can put into this and establish and introduce and create a foundation from a villain standpoint, and then move off of them, but not close their chapter so quickly. New York is a big place. There are a lot of villains running around. Villains don't just exist within season 1 and 2. Bullseye can toe the line. He can be who he wants to be in a lot of different ways. I would be very curious to see how they handle Bullseye in this series and how they handle Punisher, because those are two wild cards that they're going to be pushing into the MCU, who can bring absolute chaos and anarchy to the entire thing.
The MCU needs more.
I think the MCU needs absolutely.
The heroes need it.
Yeah.
And I say that in the sense of like, I genuinely feel like, especially for the street level, your problem should not be fixed in one season. They need to keep going. Bullseye at the end of this, honestly, if you want to establish Bullseye in a casual's perspective, and even in the greater MCU and for more hardcore fans, you have him kill someone incredibly important.
Oh yeah.
You have him kill Karen. You have him kill Foggy.
Yeah.
As heartbreaking as it would be, that's what someone like Bullseye needs to do. So that way the lasting effect and the problem of Bullseye never goes away for Daredevil. And you keep that up in season 2 if they do it. Or in a movie if they do it. If this is successful enough.
Imagine feeling that this show will give you, just based on these 3 characters. No matter what you do, Kingpin has corrupted it. The water you drink, the food you eat, you never know. You're going to question every bite, every sip. Muse, everyone that you know and potentially love is at risk. You do not want them walking down an alleyway or at night by themselves. You have to be able to protect everyone you know at all times, while also trying to save those you don't know. And then you have Bullseye lurking from a distance, up close, in the shadows, when you're getting ready to go to work, when you're getting home and in your car. You're going to be zigzagging everywhere you go. Imagine the pressure that can put on Daredevil. He can't do that by himself. And he will need help. And the characters that may offer that help, I'm going to be honest, based on these characters alone and knowing that Punisher is going to be in it, I think that they're not going to do it, but I think it would be a massive boost to bring Moon Knight into Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, that would be so good. They're not going to do it, unfortunately. No. But that would be ideal as your next character that you introduce alongside him.
Yes.
If not Moon Knight, your next best bet could honestly be Luke Cage. I think if you want to introduce, and we talked about this in our Discord, I believe Dylan brought it up actually. Mm-hmm. Discord OG. Mm-hmm. Luke Cage is probably your best bet if you do that. I'm just tentative on depending on the timing and how much they have of it.
Yeah, I think an inclusion in Luke Cage means that there's going to be a follow-up. Someone like a Moon Knight can jump straight to movie. And I think you can have Moon Knight kind of be in there sporadically, but really establish who Moon Knight is, given these 3 characters that we know that are supposed to be in the movie. I mean, what more than protecting the travelers of the night do you need if you have Muse floating around and you have Bullseye around every corner? Like, that literally is the epitome of what Moon Knight can stand for here. And I'm just hoping they slashed episodes so they can add Moon Knight and get Khonshu in there for budget. I don't know. It's wishful thinking that means absolutely nothing, and that's just a hope and a wish and a dream. But
okay, let's as we continue deep diving, kind of Born Again and the MCU streets, and I'll ask this for both of you guys. what's the storyline that you want them to do? And while you think of it, I'm just going to throw mine out because it kind of came to me. I think Kingpin, as he's running for his mayor campaign, Matt Murdock is somehow, for some reason, put it in for plot convenience here, is actively going against it. And in some sort of a lawsuit, maybe through somebody else, threatens to expose Kingpin and all the lies and stuff that would essentially derail his mayoral campaign. And I think what he should then do is just be like, hey, Matt Murdock needs to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
It's open season on Matt Murdock. Whoever brings me his head gets whatever amount of money. Bullseye comes out after him, also having the personal vendetta of Daredevil carried over from, the previous season. You have Muse, who's just killing for fun, but also wants it some reason. Then you bring in Jake Lockley, who is a hired killer. And Khonshu's just like, yeah, have fun. And I think you have those three gunning for him. And you have Punisher in the background offing others trying to get to Kingpin because he knows what he is. I think that's the storyline you go with.
I am personally down with that. Like
Cook.
Dude, I mean, think about it.
You
do get this because I think that satisfies all of the stipulations that a good TV show requires of having that those three heroes of like, you should be good, but you're not doing good in Moon Knight, right? Matt Murdock showing who he is, but also there's another side of him, and he's trying to go through kind of like what She-Hulk was doing of like your brand of justice through the law. Let's do this the right way. Let's fight Kingpin out in front and getting the help of Karen and Foggy. And I mean, how dope would it be? Just who's running, that through line, but the Punisher, where he's just cleaning up every single place he goes, and it's just, I love that. Now, here's my only thing that I think there's two characters that are missing that I think naturally should be in Born Again that won't be in Born Again, most likely. I just find it very hard to not have Jen Walters, She-Hulk, and Maya Lopez Echo in Daredevil Born Again because of their relationships they've created in the MCU. That's the continuity piece that I'm like, what was a point? Right? We know we're missing crossovers, and would I rather have Moon Knight or would I rather have She-Hulk and Echo? Get rid of She-Hulk and Echo. I'll have Moon Knight 1,000 out of 1,000 times. And then you kind of have the thing of like, what happens with Elektra, right?
Yeah.
I would almost have Elektra over a Luke Cage or a Moon Knight personally, just simply to get her in the door and see what happens after the fact, because I would like at the end of this, the Hand comes back into play. Do I think that they're going to go that far? I don't. I think this stops at Kingpin, runs for mayor to becomes mayor at the end of this. Daredevil gets whooped. Punisher whoops. Both of them get whooped. And then ultimately Bullseye and Muse die. Probably what's going to happen. And Kingpin gets busted. It's kind of how I feel like the MCU runs their game.
It'd be a serious disappointment if Bullseye dies, man.
I'd be sad.
Should they keep him? Again, I'm calling a spade a spade. They're going to bring him in, but let's be honest, do we really think he's going to have that big of a role and be that important of a character?
No. As much as I would love it, but
I don't. Not to be a Debbie Downer.
See, especially with the rumor being only 3 episodes. I think that says it right there, that almost it's like the finale or some shit, and he's been doing shit behind the scenes, but I don't know, 3 episodes out of 18 or 13, or it's not a big proportion.
I'll be okay if he plays that hitman role. Again, I like that lurking over the corner. You never know. You live life in a zigzag. That's huge. And he's having a heart-to-heart with Karen or Foggy sitting at a table at a bar, something along those lines, and it's like, boom. There's a little hole in the window, and there's a straw in the back of your head. Like, and there's a note, and he's like, I told you so. Like, I'm close. I'm close to you. I'm close. You don't think I'm close, but I'm telling you I'm close.
I feel like they and I hate doing the Frank Miller comparisons, but just his run is so good, and I think essential to it that if he only comes for one episode, right? Even if it's just the finale, and the finale is just them duking it out for the entire episode, blow for blow. I think they need to do what they do. I think it's in their like first or second showdown in Miller's run, where Bullseye's about to get hit by a train. Like, he's down and out. And Daredevil thinks about letting the train hit him. Because he's like, I know what you are, and I know if I let you live, somebody's going to die that's important to me.
Yeah.
But ultimately he saves him.
Yep.
And gets thrown in jail. You know, I think if he comes for one episode, that's what you do. And then you let season 2 be the fallout of that. And you let him escape the thing that everybody knew, but, you know, see how that impacts Daredevil.
Right there is why the focus of this show is establishing the street level version of what is justice. That's what this is. This entire show should be about. What is justice? What is right? What is wrong? Every single character is going to have their own version of what that is.
And I was going to say, I think Muse could be a good villain, because I don't know that much about Muse. I just know he kills people and makes it look artsy. But if you almost twist it to make him like that justified like serial killer, who he's like, I killed him because this person was a bad person. This person did XYZ. Should he have lived?
Yeah.
And, you know, have that be the question you play out, and have the question of Kingpin being someone who's like, even if you have his campaign be as open-ended, if he's so blatant about it, to be like, look, I know what I've done. I know the things that I've done are not good. But as mayor, I can bring true justice because I know how to deliver that.
But do you? So here's my question with that, because again, we have the whole backstory of how corrupt Kingpin has been. I think in a couple shows they've shown us where people are kind of against heroes, and that is more of She-Hulk, of questioning, should Abomination be here? Should Jen Walters do this? Should these characters, should the meta-human type of thing be allowed to just walk freely among us? Precursor to the ultimate MCU mutant question: should mutants be able to be among us? But I think Kingpin has to go two ways with this. And I had mentioned this a little bit earlier of, yes, he's only the mayor. Yes, there should be a Skrull invasion. Yes, there should be Avengers levels characters, those characters who let Thanos win, right? You lost all of your loved ones because you put hope into heroes. You let people, you know, do this and do that, and Iron Man could do this, and there's a Spider-Man who's running around doing this, and Hawkeye has done this, and vigilantes are running rampant. Take your city back. I will take the city back for you and give you this city. That's where I feel like the core of this is like, the Avengers are not here to save you. Where are they? Where were they when your purse got stolen, or your car got hijacked, or your so-and-so got murdered? Like, they were nowhere to be found. But under my supervision, this city will be safe, and here's why. And for me personally, I think that he actually captures the Punisher early on in this show and shows you, this man has been a vigilante running amok in your city, and I caught him. And this man's like, the skull, the scars, everything, and Matt Murdock has to get him out of prison. That's what I think they should go of, just like, I'm going to make an example of your so-called heroes type of thing. And just be open and upfront about it.
I like that.
I don't know. They could go a few ways with this. But I will say, of everything that we've talked about today, this definitely feels like that one point on the timeline where we can Leonardo DiCaprio and point at it, and we're like, this was the moment the MCU shifted. Because not only did it meet expectations, it exceeded those and expanded the world in a way that we really didn't even think was possible.
Yeah. I agree. Hopefully, the next year of MCU, both Street and Multiverse, just corrects the things that we've been talking about and just gives us that warm, fuzzy feeling. And I think all of it to say that Street level has a lot more opportunities right now because some of these projects are more street level focused.
Yeah.
Especially with something like Born Again coming up.
Yeah. I agree.
It's crazy to say that. The basic street level has more opportunity and promise than a multiverse of unlimited opportunity.
Think about this though. What in the Infinity Saga can you point to that says, man, that feels really street level? That was peak street level.
Nothing.
Civil War.
Civil War is probably the closest thing, but they make that feel so Avengers specific. And the Avengers always felt like, especially in hindsight, that they're bigger than the streets. They're too good for the streets. They deal with world and universal level threats. They don't care about your bad guy.
And I think that's wherein the issue lies for Cap, Brave New World, where ideally you would almost think that Cap is kind of a street level character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you were to establish your street level, your two aces of street level could be Daredevil and Cap if they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
But because you then have Cap be who Cap is this entire time in the MCU, and even Sam, who's done those things alongside Steve Rogers, but then you add someone like Red Hulk, who ideally is just too big of a problem for a street level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's ultimately what makes Cap feel a step above.
I almost look at Cap as like a country club kind of hero, right? He's not getting down in the street playing pickup. This man's like, he's going to a club to play, right? He's like, no, I don't get down out there. Like, I'm going to go over here. Do I think they could use that to their advantage for his character? 100%. I would love to see them say, Cap, he's out of his league. Because vibranium in it, that's not the answer to everything. It's just not. Are you going to stop Red Hulk? No. But that's a different conversation as we get closer. But again, back to what you said, Spider-Man, Avengers are kind of their own niche.
Yeah.
In subcategory of Universal in a way. So good stuff though. Great stuff.
Great. Fantastic. Before we wrap it up, one final question. We like doing this here. If you're new, our absolutely way too early rating prediction. If it was a movie, I'd say box office, but I'm just going to say our rating prediction, our absolutely way too early rating prediction for Daredevil Born Again, off the stuff that we know, right? Only off the stuff that we know. We can revisit this when we get a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys feel like is going to be the rating for Daredevil Born Again?
When you average it all up on IMDb, it's going to be 8.3. All episodes will average out to an 8.3.
Spider Brando?
Going
This man has had a
7-9.
tough choice
7-9.
deciding today. Oh, you had 7-9?
Yep.
Ooh.
I feel like it's gonna get downvoted a lot just for people that are salty. I don't know why.
This is literally the MCU. That's like current day MCU effect.
Yeah.
Man, there's not a chance in heck when this was announced that they were acquired that we probably would have said 8 or 7 anything. That would be an easy 9 something.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it solid 8.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if they do it right and they play their cards right, depending on what we've heard so far, it feels like it's going in a right direction. 8 is where it will stand, and it's going to be a solid 8 where we can't poke holes in that 8. Like it's a sturdy 8.
Yeah. There's no like, actually,
Exactly.
no, this is just like, actually,
it's an 8 through and through.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good point. An eight means something different. So we'll explain in the near future what that means for the Point Through podcast and us 3 on this channel specifically. But everyone, thank you for watching. Those that are watching live, we appreciate you. If you liked what you saw during this live stream, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. See us here back again next Wednesday, live 9:05 Eastern. More news, more notes, more deep dive, more insight from the Point Through podcast. But remember, we want to hear from you. So join us over on our social medias or our Discord. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're loving, what you're not. Let's talk about it. But everyone, until next week, keep watching everything that you're watching. Read everything that you can read. And keep nerding out. We will see you next Wednesday.